How does this Charlotte Mason mom schedule her homeschool year? Stay tuned to find out. I am notoriously not a planning person, but for homeschool, I actually have a very specific process that I'll share with you today. So I use the Charlotte Mason method, and I specifically try to use the AmblesideOnline curriculum as much as possible. So if you want more information on AmblesideOnline, check out the video that I did just a few weeks ago, because you will get all the information about what Ambleside is and how it works. So I'm in the AmblesideOnline Facebook group, and someone posted their printed version of the frequently asked questions, the book list, the schedules, and I knew that I had to have one. So I got mine printed too. And I got it printed by Humble Heart Press, which is actually a local homeschool print shop run by a local homeschool family. So I highly encourage you to check out their website. I will link it below. So I got this printed because I was just getting so bogged down with having to go on the website via either like a laptop or my phone. So I just got it printed so it's really easy to check what the schedule is. Now, I don't follow the AmblesideOnline schedule to a T, and I don't use every single book that they recommend using, but this schedule is really, really nice to use if you just want kind of a general overview of when you need to finish certain texts. I also don't stress out too much about finishing things on time because they give ample time, in my experience, to finish chapters and books. So for example, we use our island story for our history, and that's a history of England for boys and girls. And according to the year 1 schedule, so that's the equivalent of first grade, you only need to read one chapter every 2 weeks. Now, when the kids get a little bit older, it gets a little bit more rigorous. There's about 1 chapter per week, but even that is really easily doable. And I find it just, anyone could do that easily. So this printed resource also has the entire book list for AmblesideOnline, because AmblesideOnline relies on the use of living books. It has the entire book list in there so that I can look ahead and see what I'm going to need next. And the really nice thing about this book list is that the books are listed in order of the grade that they are presented in. So I can just look ahead, you know, go to the next page and be like, okay, this is what I'm going to need for next year, so I need to stock up on these. Now, I use my AmblesideOnline schedule and book list in tandem with a daily planner. I have used all sorts of planners in the past, and nothing has worked as well for me as daily planners have. This one I just happened to find at Sam's Club. It's by the company Blue Line, and it seems to be working just great. I love it because it doesn't have any dates written in there, so it's really customizable. And each page has a lot of room for me to make all sorts of notes. Our schedule changes so much with mine and my husband's work schedules and just all sorts of extra activities that we are taking the kids to. So I just try to keep it as open as possible by just planning on a day-to-day basis. I don't use weekly and I don't use monthly like I know a lot of other people do. So this planner I use for everyday family life, including homeschool, but I also have a very specific process for my kids on how we get day-to-day homeschool items done. On a day-to-day basis for homeschool, I write on a post-it for each of my kids what I expect them to accomplish each day. What I write on these post-it notes for each of them is a very conservative list. It's more of like, you have to do these things, instead of a, I want you to do these things, but it's okay if we don't get them all done. Because I want them to get in the habit of fully completing tasks and projects that are assigned to them. So I try to be very mindful about writing things on there that I know they can accomplish, and maybe even sometimes try to challenge them a bit. My kids are both pretty young, but they kind of know how it works at this point. They're kind of learning how to read the names of the curriculum we're using, so they understand exactly what I'm asking of them. So for example, we use primary mathematics for math every day, as well as explode the code for phonics every day. So on this post-it note, it would say which child's name, and then it would say primary mathematics, pages 1 and 2. And then explode the code, page 17, and then practice piano, because we do that every day as well. As you can tell from my example, I only assign like 1, 2, or 3 pages at most per day per subject. So like I said, it's a very conservative expectation, and who knows, they might even exceed that. Now, the items that I do not include on these post-it notes are the read-alouds that I do with them after I'm off work. So of course, I facilitate homeschool earlier in the day with the math and phonics, but after I'm off work, I do the read-alouds, like the Our Island Story, or a free read-aloud like The Chronicles of Narnia. Like I said, I do everything day by day, which is very unlike how Stacey usually plans her curriculum for the year, and you can check out how she plans in the video she did last year. I just find that this is how we all operate the best. I tried doing like planning ahead type curriculum planning last year. It didn't work because first of all of our plans completely changed, and also we ended up changing a bunch of our curriculums. So it was just all a lot of wasted time that I had poured into planning for the upcoming year. So I didn't want to make that mistake this year, and I find that ever since last year when I had that whole debacle, I just was like, I'm gonna plan daily, and this is just what works best. Also, I'm all about just going through curriculum at our own pace, so I'm not setting, you know, super rigorous standards for my kids. I don't need them to complete X, Y, and Z curriculum by this date. I'm not that kind of person, so that's why I really like just taking it day by day, seeing what my kids are capable of, seeing what I'm capable of, and seeing what I have time to facilitate, and then going from there. So my process really only takes about 5 minutes per day, so I either do this in the evening before the next day, or I do it first thing in the morning when I wake up. I'll just go and review what my kids have done in their curriculums. I'll write down the future pages that I expect them to accomplish, and then I'll sometimes look ahead at our read-alouds just to see how many chapters we have left, and I'll also refer to my AmblesideOnline printed resource. I feel like this is a really good process for anyone who's in a state of change, which we kind of are, and also anyone who's just not a fan of sitting down and planning the whole year out at once. So that's my curriculum planning process, or lack thereof. I really suggest just trying out all sorts of different planners and seeing what works best for you and your family, because you might be surprised. You know, like I said, I use daily, I've used weekly and monthly, and I see how those work so well for other people, but they just never worked for me. Also, I suggest getting as many homeschool resources in print as possible, so that you're not getting bogged down by having to check on your phone or computer for that information. And again, check out Humble Heart Press for all of your printing needs. I will leave a link to them below. What planning method do you like best? Daily, weekly, or monthly? Let me know in the comments below. I'm really curious to find out. And don't forget to like and subscribe to see more videos just like this one. See you next time!